Cha Tae-sik is a quiet and reclusive man who runs a small pawn shop in a rundown neighborhood. Haunted by a tragic past, he keeps to himself and avoids forming attachments, except for his only friend, a lonely little girl named So-mi. So-mi is the daughter of Hyo-jong, a go-go dancer struggling with drug addiction. Despite her mother's neglect, So-mi finds comfort in Tae-sik's presence, seeing him as a kind yet mysterious figure who treats her with warmth. One day, Hyo-jong steals a large pack of opium from the bar where she works, acting on the orders of her drug-dealing lover. Fearing for her safety, she hides the drugs in a camera bag and unknowingly pawns it at Tae-sik's shop. Meanwhile, drug lord Oh Myung-gyu, furious over the theft, orders his subordinates, brothers Man-seok and Jong-seok, to retrieve the stolen drugs. Jong-seok quickly tracks down Hyo-jeong and, to extract information, tortures her in front of So-mi until she confesses the drug's location. Realizing that the bag is with Tae-sik, the criminals decide to use him as an unwitting pawn in their operations. They lure him into delivering a mysterious package, not knowing that it contains human organs for an illegal trafficking ring. As Tae-sik finds himself entangled in a brutal world of crime, his past as a highly skilled former secret agent begins to resurface. When So-mi is abducted and Hyo-jong is brutally murdered, Tae-sik embarks on a relentless and violent mission to rescue the girl, dismantling the criminal syndicate in his way. Along the journey, his dark history is revealed, and his deadly abilities come to light, turning him into a force that neither the police nor the criminals can stop. Driven by guilt, grief, and a newfound sense of purpose, Tae-sik will stop at nothing to save the only person who ever gave him a reason to live again. Jong-seok, determined to retrieve the stolen drugs, sends his henchmen Du-chi and Bear to Tae-sik's pawnshop. However, they severely underestimate him. Tae-sik swiftly overpowers them with lethal efficiency, hinting at his mysterious past. Realizing that brute force won't work, Jong-seok takes a more ruthless approach. He kidnaps So-mi and uses her as leverage, forcing Tae-sik to deliver the opium to their boss, Oh Myung-gyu. Meanwhile, Man-seok, Jong-seok's own brother, grows tired of his siblings' reckless leadership. Seeking an opportunity to take control, he secretly tips off the police about the drug exchange. However, Myung-gyu, ever cautious, manages to escape before law enforcement can apprehend him. Tae-sik, now unwittingly tangled in the criminal underworld, follows the orders given to him. But his situation takes a dark turn when he makes a horrifying discovery. Hyo-jong's lifeless body is in the trunk of his car, her organs harvested. Framed for the crime, Tae-sik is swiftly arrested by the police. At the station, detectives sense something unusual about him. Their suspicions are confirmed when Tae-sik stages a daring escape, effortlessly incapacitating officers with the display of brutal combat skills. Alarmed by his proficiency, law enforcement launches an investigation into his background. What they uncover shocks them. Cha Tae-sik was no ordinary pawnshop owner. He was once a highly skilled covert operative for South Korean Army intelligence, a man trained for black ops and assassination missions. His retirement from the military came after a tragic incident. An assassin targeted him, killing his pregnant wife in the process. Now, with his past catching up to him and So-mi's life hanging in the balance, Tae-sik sets out on a relentless and bloody path to bring down the criminal empire responsible for tearing apart the only connection he had left to the world. With their drug operations threatened, the brothers, Man-seok and Jong-seok, hunt down Yeojong's lover, eliminating him to tie up loose ends. Seizing an opportunity to rise in the criminal hierarchy, their deadly enforcer, Ram-rowan, executes Oh Myung-gyu, clearing the way for the brothers to take full control of the syndicate. Meanwhile, Tae-sik follows a lead using the burner phone given to him by Jong-seok. His search leads him to a nightclub where he tracks down Du-chi, one of Jong-seok's lackeys. Pressing him for information about the brothers, Tae-sik's interrogation is abruptly cut short when Ram-rowan storms in. Without hesitation, Ram-rowan opens fire, killing Du-chi and wounding Tae-sik. Bleeding and outnumbered, Tae-sik barely escapes into the night. Severely injured, he seeks refuge with an old ally, his former partner from his covert operative days. Recognizing Tae-sik's unwavering resolve, his friend helps him recover and arms him with a new weapon for the battle ahead. Rejuvenated and more determined than ever, Tae-sik returns to the city, following another lead that brings him to a secret drug manufacturing plant operated by the syndicate. As he infiltrates the facility, he discovers a horrifying reality. Children are being enslaved and forced to work in the lab. Fueled by righteous fury, Tae-sik dismantles the operation with ruthless precision, taking down cartel members one by one. In the chaos, he finally confronts Jong-seok, engaging in a brutal fight that ends with the crime lord's death. With Jong-seok eliminated and the drug lab in ruins, Tae-sik ensures the children are freed before pressing forward toward his final objective, rescuing So-mi and bringing an end to the criminal empire once and for all. Determined to end the bloodshed once and for all, Tae-sik tracks Man-seok to his luxury condominium. Inside, he finds himself surrounded by the last of the crime lord's men, including the deadly enforcer Ram-rowan. But Tae-sik is beyond fear. He is driven by fury and grief. With a cruel smirk, Man-seok taunts him, claiming that So-mi is dead and that her eyes had been harvested. To drive the point home, he presents a small container with 2 preserved eyeballs floating inside. The sight of it shatters what little restraint Tae-sik had left. Consumed by rage, he unleashes his full fury, brutally taking down Man-seok's entire gang in a relentless display of precision and violence. Not even Ram-rowan, the silent yet deadly assassin, is spared. Despite his formidable skills, he falls to Tae-sik's wrath. Finally, with nothing left to protect him, Man-seok meets his end at Tae-sik's hands. Standing amid the carnage, Tae-sik is overwhelmed by despair. Believing So-mi to be gone, he prepares to take his own life, raising his gun in resignation. But just as he is about to pull the trigger, a soft voice stops him. So-mi, dirty but unharmed, appears before him. Stunned, Tae-sik stares in disbelief as she approaches. It is then that he learns the truth. Ram-rowan, despite being a ruthless killer, had taken pity on So-mi. Touched by her kindness toward him earlier, he chose to spare her life. The eyes in the container belonged not to her, but to the gang's surgeon. Tae-sik, overwhelmed by the realization that she is alive, lowers his weapon. As the police arrive, they take Tae-sik into custody, but out of respect for what he has done, they allow him and So-mi to ride together. During the quiet drive, So-mi, exhausted, drifts off to sleep. Tae-sik watches over her, his hardened expression softening. At a small convenience store, he asks the officers to stop. Stepping inside, he carefully selects a backpack and various school supplies, small yet meaningful tokens of a future he knows he won't be part of. Returning to the car, he gently hands the items to So-mi, telling her that from now on, She will have to take care of herself. The weight of parting sinks in, and as he prepares to leave, he hesitates. Then, in a rare moment of vulnerability, he asks her for a hug. As Somi embraces him, the cold and broken man who had shut himself off from the world finally allows himself to grieve. Silent tears stream down his face as he holds on to the only person who had given him a reason to live again.